Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's Boys in the Baltic Star. It's Saturday tonight, which means we're playing one of our other exciting adventures, and tonight that is Those Dark Places, the wonderful sci-fi horror game. Seen here in the book. Ignore the bit of paper, that's for me. There is a little nice, easy book, very cheap for good quality RPG, written by Jonathan Hicks, who's a great man. Not on the same level as Martin Luther King or anything when we talk about great men. But he's a good writer and he's a nice guy, and it's well worth getting. And that is what we're playing here. It's a great system that revolves around one dice with some skills, which is great for people that aren't very good at organising things like me. If it is your first time here, welcome. I hope you enjoy it. We'll probably run a couple of hours, a little bit more maybe, with a break in the middle. If you want to hang out and see what it's like, you are welcome to. If you just want to drop in for a couple of minutes and then move on to the next thing, that is absolutely fine as well. You do what makes you feel comfortable. Speaking of feeling comfortable, chat is there. If you want to join in the chat, chat is friendly. People, even the players, will interact with chat as and when we can. Otherwise, we've got friendly people in there like Kelly. We have some others that too and go sort of regulars, semi-regulars who are always happy to chat to new people. Or you can lurk. Lurking is absolutely great. We love our lurkers. We won't shout you out, so don't you worry about that. Feel free to click the red sign if you want to spend your points on different ways that can help or hinder the game. If, for example, Ben's character goes to grab something heavy and you think he's not working hard enough, why not select, well, if you're making one? And then suddenly he has to go and get another big heavy thing to bring back to Shay. Or Evan is watching you. Good choice. Let's get a nice early Evan. Get an early Evening. That's it. I like Evan is watching you. It's probably, hey Spez, how you doing? You're right, man. Evan is watching you is my favourite just because it puts Ben on edge. We all need to remember that Evan is watching you, and Evan is an important character, and he's with us always. Anyway, my name is Luke. Hello, I'm GMing this evening, and I am joined by a man that makes Keanu Reeves look like a dick, the Milk Train Man, and the heroine from a Shelley novel. Here to bring you a wonderful story, which I hope you enjoy. They're still alive, that's the main thing, and hopefully that'll still be the way at the end, but we'll see how it goes. Why don't you three... no, I'm going to talk to you. Let's do it that way. You can introduce yourselves later, your characters anyway. So first up next to me is the man, the myth, the legend, a fine man with not quite as fine facial hair as he once had, sadly. But it is Ewan, everyone's favourite. Good evening, Ewan. How are you?
Hey, Luke. I'm good, thanks. I'm good. I'm still trying to figure out which one of us is which of those three things that you listed off there. In all honesty.
You be the one who you want to be.
Thanks. Yeah, I suppose it doesn't really matter. As long as I've got the one I like and one I really good.
Oh, double Ewans!
Thanks, Karen. Much appreciated.
That was horrific.
Did you get double music, Luke?
Yeah, I did. It was extra loud. That was brutal.
Nice.
Stupid OBS. Anyway, yes, we stand for you, and he's the only person we stand for. There he is. Look at him in his little bunny outfit. It's perfectly in suiting for this evening. Did you have a nice Saturday anyway, Ewan? Up to no good, as usual?
Yeah, I did, thanks. It was lovely. Popped down to Dover, had a little walk along the cliffs. Chilled out a bit.
What colour are those
Good
cliffs
times.
again?
They're white, I believe. Mostly chalk coloured.
That is true. It sounds like a lovely way to spend the day. Good. And as you're next to me, it'd be wrong not to offer the fist bump.
And I can see myself this time, so I've no excuses.
Oh, I've gone early. There we go.
Early and slow.
Early and slow. Next to him, next one along as you're watching the screen is the smartest man in any room or street, it's been proven, who lives his entire life in the Twin Peaks dream sequence, except he leaves the Twin Peaks dream sequence this week for 5 days.
Majestic! Yes, indeed.
The most resplendent of us all. You've just been asked to resplend. But yes. Oh, it's flicked off. Oh, there we go, better. Look at that. Beautiful. So lovely, Ben. How are you? And why do you get to leave the dream sequence for 5 days this week?
Well, every year I do a pilgrimage, one might say, to a horror film festival in London called Fright Fest. And it is my sort of holiday for the year, and I just disappear off and do. It's technically sort of 4.5 days worth of horror films, about 25 movies you squeeze in. And yes, indeed, I also eat a Whopper or two while I'm there.
Sorry, I couldn't have it left out, Ben. It's an important part.
It's how we live vicariously through you. We just think
Yeah.
about you enjoying the Whopper. They're so expensive, common people like us can't afford them anymore, so it's just nice to think of someone enjoying one.
Yeah. Well, they are premium food, the best you can get, frankly.
Yeah. just like Gillette. God.
Neither of those people sponsor the stream, by the way. Just really want to watch it.
Get onto them, Ewan. You're our new our money guy, our financial guru. Chase it
I'll
down.
send out some emails.
Yeah.
Sure.
Have some. Get on the golf course. Have some meetings. Do some deals.
Oh, I don't know.
Good
Yes.
sponsor.
So yes, I will be sadly missing next weekend. However, I will be enjoying a great many horror films, which is a thing that I do once a year.
And we're happy that you're happy, quite frankly, and it's something to look forward to. And we hope you have. I'm sure I speak for all of us, including chat. We hope you have a fantastic time, and that hopefully tonight can serve as just a warm up in horror to a fantastic week of films.
I'm hopeful warm up is what it will be, and not crashing doom and end. Yes.
That is true. Wow. We'll leave that to when you go to the doctors when you come back and he has a go at you for all those Whoppers.
Yes, there can be awkward moments. Yeah.
For those eagle-eyed among us who watch most days, oftentimes there's just the three of us, but every now and again we're joined by 1 or 2 or maybe 3 special people to the channel. And today we're joined by who has been rated for the 17th month in a row as the most popular guest member of a show. It is, of course, Gilly. Gilly, good evening.
You guys.
Oh,
Hello.
we're not the ones that vote. How are you doing? How was your day?
Yeah, it's good. I've been chilled out and now I've got my bottle of wine and I'm good to go. Some industrial horror.
God, I'm sorry I had to cancel last month, so it has been quite a while. Has any magical thing happened to you over the last couple of months?
Unfortunately, no. Nothing magical, just much of the same. Still trying to busily create my way to a more creative life, I suppose.
That is true. Have you got your links for the work that you do on the World Builder stuff?
I have somewhere, yeah. I shall post those probably at the end, if that's okay.
That would be fantastic. There's a reason for people to hang around. So Gilly is a wonderful world creator for roleplay games such like, and is well worth checking out. So those links will come at the end. So hang around for some inspiration and some amazingness.
Aww.
Kelly's standing for you. Oh, we don't have a Gilly tune. We need a Gilly tune. Gilly's got a well, if you're making one, is in honour of you. So you've got one of the point spending things, but maybe you need a tune. I'll play Sparrow.
Some sort of song about a cup of tea.
I'll play Sparrows. The Kinks have a cup of tea. That's a good song. Or something about ales. I don't know. Or red wine, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, the posse are here. Look, everyone. Look at the big map. There's things happening. Shall I introduce the game and then I'll pass over to the crew who may die or survive quickly this evening. We'll see how it goes. The crew of the Nakuru. That's these 3. And I'll tell you what. I'll show you the Nakuru. It's not there at the minute. Let's bring it up because it's nice to see the ship. The old dear. There it is. There's the Nakuru. The crew of the Nakuru aren't the luckiest crew out there. For a start, their ship is out of date, rusty, and has a strange smell in the air that no one can quite place, but is just on the unpleasant side of strange. Secondly, they appear to have a SAM, an SAM, an android, provided by their employer Maitland Corporation, which seems to have developed a strange fascination with one of the crew members, and in general has developed some personality traits which would be off-putting even in a human. Thirdly, since the three new crewmates, engineer Misha Renkov, pilot Shay Hawkins and liaison officer Liam Deturi, have been aboard, they've run into deadly space junk, the bloody remains of company engineers in a decommissioned space station, and in the last hour or two, some of the most unpleasant things any of them have ever experienced. And that's all been within about the first 6 hours of their service. But instead of me putting words into their mouths about how terrified they are right now, why don't I get them to introduce themselves and what they found unpleasant about their current predicament aboard the impossible century-old ghost ship, the Argent 3. So, Ewan, who do you play, and what's he feeling right now?
I play liaison officer Liam Deturi, who is a bit. Frankly, it's been a mad 6 hours. You say it's been about 6 hours, but his biggest fear is that he's actually just signed up for 25 years worth of this, and he doesn't know when the next breather's going to come. I suppose it's been. There's been a bit of downtime, but it's mostly been recovering from the horror of one seeing the actual ship that we've been given, and two, all of the events and the crew within. Apart from the two sat below next to me. I can't see where our cameras are. Sat next to me. Apart from those two, the rest of the crew pretty horrific as well. And it's a long stint.
Luckily, Liam appears to be a very positive kind of guy, so it should be okay. Have you had a glory moment yet, Liam?
I'm not sure. Nothing that springs to mind. I mean, I'd like to, if we moments that we'd like to mention, I'd like to mention the falling unconscious outside the ship, being saved by Shay. That was a big one. Certainly one of the scarier things he's done in his life. Or the jumping between ships, and I have a feeling being saved by Misha. So he's doing well so far.
Well, that does somewhat come down to your skills, because everyone has some skills, and your agility, Liam, is not the best.
No, he's pretty clumsy, but his strength is all right. He's reasonably well educated, and he doesn't have the charisma of a wet tea towel, I suppose.
That's exactly what you need for a liaison officer.
Well, exactly.
Thank you, Matthias. That was the look I was going for, that sort of green and black and the glowing of that sort of the sci-fi of its ilk. Thank you for your comment. Next up, moving on, the next crew member who we're focusing on is Shay Hawkins. Shay Hawkins, tell us about yourself and maybe some of your most terrifying or glorious moments so far.
Okay, well, Shay is the helm officer and basic school nurse of the ship. She's really feeling the pressure at the moment. She's perhaps not as agile as she once was before this mission. Yeah, I still think she peaked in episode 1, though, when she stilted her way to victory.
Mhm.
In the
I
training
think she's
mission.
peaked. It's only downhill from here.
Oh no! It all started so well.
It was awesome though.
It was a glorious thing. You piloted well. You've flown the ship well so far.
Yeah, yeah. And picking Liam up off the side of the ship was also a highlight.
Exactly.
When my
Much
own
appreciated.
oxygen was running out, I think that's what stressed her out.
Now, see, there's rumours going around in chat that you are the MVP of the crew. How do you respond to that?
Oh no, I can't hit anything with my handgun. No, that's all Misha's job, I think.
You say that.
Speaking of Misha Renkov, the man who has suddenly developed the ability to fire a gun out of nowhere.
Yes.
Tell us about yourself, Misha. What's some high and low points so far?
Well, Misha, I think, was not displeased with his fellow crewmates, as in the other two who joined the ship with him, but was a little bit less impressed with a couple of the established members of the crew. Eddie Klassen, the security officer, who appears to have only his own personal security at heart, and the creepy as anything Evan, who is just unpleasant. However, yes, he did not do well in training, it has to be said. He did not have a good first day. But once he actually got... You see, that was unnecessary. That was just unnecessary. But once he made it to Hell Ship, where we are now, miraculously, he did appear to be able to shoot for the first time ever in his life, which unfortunately is likely to make him too confident about that, because his stats don't really bear that out. So we'll see, but he's here to play, and we'll see what happens.
That's the spirit. That is the spirit. Before we take you back to the current moment, do people remember the rundown of their stats? So for those in chat, so for Matthias, for example, especially, and others, the game uses certain stat levels. So they'll roll a d6 for a test. There might be slight variations on it, depending on if they're just trying to open a door or if they're fighting against someone. But they'll generally use one of 4 main stats and 2 jobs. So they gave a 4, a 3, and a 2, and a 1 to charisma, agility, strength, and education. They're the 4 main stats. And they also get a primary role and a secondary role. And if I believe that the task they're trying to complete can be fulfilled by their primary role, they'll get a +2. And if I feel the task they're trying to complete is fulfilled by their secondary role, they'll get a +1. So, for example, if Liam is talking on the radio trying to get someone to agree to something, we could say that he's using his liaison skill, which is +2, and his charisma, which is another +2. So he adds 4 to his dice roll, and they need to hit an 8 generally for it to be a success. Some are easier, some are a bit harder, but it's generally 8 is the magic number, generally. So speaking of which, Liam, do you remember what all your skills were for the viewers?
My stats, yeah, sure. Do you want me to read them out?
Yeah, please do. Why not? Everyone can make a note.
So my charisma is 2. My fabled agility is 1. My strength is 3, and my education is 4.
Fantastic. So 1 agility sucks for him because you need agility to fire weapons. So he's pretty useless with weapons.
And manoeuvre in space.
There's a lot of that in space. And strength is also sort of your health and your fighting. So yours is pretty good for that, so that's okay. Shay, what are your 4 stats for those watching?
She's not very charismatic. She's got 1 in charisma, 2 in education, 3 in strength, and she did have a 4 in agility, but because she's been under a lot of pressure, I've got a penalty on that, so it's currently 3.
Yes, so part of the game, which makes it horror-based, is at moments of intense pressure, anyone in that area has to complete a pressure roll, which is checked against a couple of their stats. And if they fail it, their pressure level goes up. And they might have an episode where they stress out, which is something that happened to Shay, where I think you were stood looking into space at one point across from the ship. You had an episode, and then your agility went down by 1. You started shaking. And it stays like that until we get back to the ship, and she can have a moment, quite frankly.
Have a mug of tea.
Have a mug of tea. Well, if you're making one. Misha, how about you? What skills do you have?
Well, Misha is I think it's fair to say, quite awkward socially, among his other reasons for being awkward. Charisma of 1. His agility is 2. Strength is 4, and education is 3. He's reasonably bright. He's a sort of scientific engineering type. But his agility is, frankly, playing better than it should at the moment. He's got lucky quite a lot, so I can't imagine that'll last.
He's the one person that's been shooting things that are chasing them, and I don't know how it's happening, but he keeps achieving it. You're like brains and brawn, which is what I like about you. I can see you in like a white science jacket, but with the sleeves ripped off to show the guns.
Absolutely.
and I'm here for it, I must say. So that's the introduction to the characters, where they're at. Let's fast forward to where the ship they're on. So all the terrifying bits they've had so far. There. We're on the Argent 3. The crew found themselves on the ship an hour or so ago when it blipped up unexpectedly on the sensors, and they went to have a look because Maitland Corporation asked them to place a beacon in there for salvage. It's an impossible ship, a long lost ship, a fabled ship that'd be worth a lot of money for the company to recover. So of course on they go, and everything's going well until it's not, when they nearly fall off into the eternity of space the second they get out of their ship. But they get there, and everything's looking wonderful until it's not. Until they find the locked up engineer, Rosa Manuela, in a box, being force-fed her own genetically grown arms to keep her alive for these terrifying, mutated, radiated human husks on the ship. That every now and again they would hear screaming or running or chasing around as the ship is dying, let's put it that way. There's severe radiation in engineering, things are not looking good. The crew decide to scarper as quick as possible off the bridge, coming down. Instead of going through engineering, which seemed like a folly, they scarpered south, with, I must say, Misha making a couple of miraculous shots on the way. Scurrying down the southern corridor back to the emergency airlock. Picking up some mysterious moving goo along the way and stashing it in something that can only be described as a ludicrous decision. But, you know, they've got scientific brains. And as Eddie Clarkson, security officer, airlocked his way back to the Nakuru to pick up a spacesuit for Rosa Manuela, the crew were left to wait for his return. You see, they may have a way off the ship, along with their rescued engineer Rosa Manuela. The SAM Evan is back on the Nakuru undergoing repairs, following an unfortunate incident with a shotgun. Navigator Carla Munro is on the ship, ready to gun it if needed. And as said, Security Officer Eddie Clarkson is currently in the airlock of the Nakuru, gathering together a spare spacesuit to bring back over for Manuela. Deturi is across the void from him in the Argent 3's airlock, waiting to pull him and the suit back over, and the plan is in full swing. It appears that Renkov and Hawkins are holding their own against the irradiated mutant humans, with the bodies, if not piling up, then at least being picked off as needed to keep the screaming, howling enemy at arm's length. And when that doesn't work, Misha just quietly closing a door so they can ignore what's going on. There's even been some rather fascinating unknown moving goo, and I'm excited for where that may go in the future. Literally where it may go. However, as our crew are there, waiting for the return of Clarkson and the suit, ready to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat, from behind them in engineering, there's an unmistakable and terrifying sound of mutants screaming, and the clanging of the locked engineering door taking what sounds like a lot of punishment from the hordes behind. I, like the crew of the Nakuru, sincerely hope that it can last out long enough for them to get off the ship. But, like them, I'm not holding my breath.
Yes, holding breath. That's a good reference.
Not quite yet.
Speaking of holding breath, do you know how much oxygen you've got left? I've got it recorded if you need a reminder.
I have 70 left, apparently.
Okay.
I have 69.
I've got 61 written down.
Yes, well, you're in the airlock, so you're cycling through the open airlock, so you're cycling through yours a lot quicker than anyone else right now. Okay, and this is where it begins. The corridor, if you would remember, is empty. There was a couple of bodies that came towards you that you fought off before Misha quietly closed the door to Long Sleep 2 to make sure no one else came through it. As if that's going to work. And
Closed just felt better.
Rosa is down in that corner by the emergency airlock, sort of being kept out of harm's way. And Shay looking up diagonally towards engineering, then across towards the bridge, looking left and right, as Liam sits in the silence of the airlock, waiting for Clarkson to return at the other airlock on the Nakuru. Over to you.
We can hear the banging from engineering, can't we?
Mm-hmm.
As far as I can tell, I'm in a reasonable position. I can peer down both corridors. So I'm just going to hunker down and wait for the time being until we get some news from the airlock.
Fantastic.
Got the shotgun cradled in my hands.
Do you remember how many shells you've got?
Yes, I'm down to 8 pistol shells and 6 shotgun shells.
Thank you very much. And Shay, do you know how many pistols? You've got the pistol, right?
Yep, I have. Yep,
Do you
got
know?
10 rounds left.
10 rounds left. Okay. Fantastic. So, you're happy to hunker down. How about you, Shay?
Yeah, I'm happy to hunker down. I've got my pistol ready if need be.
Okie dokie. As you hear the screaming from engineering, you're noticing that although there's a lot of clanging and moving around, especially you, Shay, as you're sort of tending to look more down that diagonal, the door is shaking, but nothing is breaking through. It's not like those dramatic films you would have seen on Titan and such like, where there's a big fist blowing big bulges out the door or anything, you know. It's not ready to blow in its brackets. It's not like it's imminent, but it's definitely shaking and rattling a bit more than you would hope. Misha, could you make a roll for me? Let's make the first roll of the evening, please.
Sure. What kind of roll am I making?
A death roll. No. How are you going to die? I would really like you to roll for me. You're looking down the long corridor. Could you roll for me an education, please, with engineering?
With engineering, excellent. That's +5.
That's good. That's good for you.
A total of 10. That is.
As you look down, you notice something coming from, you know, the pressurized umbilical which you've walked past. which you know is
Yes.
attached to that small little, like 10-meter long shuttlecraft, I guess.
Yep.
You notice with that roll that sort of psst of air around the edge that suggests a pressurization. That there's a change in pressure.
Okay. Do I know if that means the pressure in the umbilical is rising to meet ship pressure or is falling?
It's rising to meet ship pressure. Something is looking to cross the umbilical, you'd assume.
Okay. We have communicators, don't we? Radio type
Yes,
communicators.
you do, yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to immediately yell out to everybody. The pressurized umbilical has just pressurized. So that could mean something's coming from that little shuttle.
The airlock door's open. Is that right, Luke?
Yes, but the big
On the outside.
the big hulking Nakuru is between you and anything you could see through there.
Okay. Liam will probably instinctively stick his head out, not see anything apart from the Nakuru. I haven't got a visual from here. Did anyone see anything unusual? Was it a ship on the end? Sorry, Luke. Out of character. Was it a ship on the end of the umbilical when we went to dock?
Yeah, it's like a 10-meter long, like a little shuttle ship, like a little to and fro. Nothing special. It's not. You flew right past it, so you would see it. It's not armored or anything like that. It's just a to and fro kind of ship. Hey, Monkey Tails, thank you for joining us. I hope you had a fantastic session.
Hey, Raiders. He'll just say, did anyone see anything unusual about the shuttle on the way in? Just got nothing else, I guess, from this point that he could suggest.
Now, flashing back to when you were there at the time, I can't go with anything there. None of you would have, with your eyes, none of you noticed anything strange about it. It's just a little ship with little windows and not many of them.
Cool. Survivors, do you think?
Could be. Or something worse.
I mean, what have we got? We've got the possibility that it's death monsters, but I suspect they came from here, right? So it's more likely to be a human survivor, maybe?
The shuttle crew?
Yeah.
Or the people arriving for the salvage? I mean, it's quick.
It would be fast, yeah. I'm just wondering, is it possible they're coming because we placed the beacon? Have we triggered them to come because they now know someone set up a beacon and therefore there are people coming to potentially help? Maybe they hid in there for a while.
Would we know, Luke, if that is viable as that the ship would have picked up the beacon?
The beacon is plinging. The second you put it down, well, you threw it in a cowardly way. I don't blame you. Yeah, it's on. Any ship with sensors, big or small, would know that it's active. Within a couple of systems.
Liam will just say that makes sense to me. Well, I guess we either check it out or we don't. Hopefully, if it is humans, they've got their own spacesuits though. So I don't fancy sending Eddie back over there.
No. Okay. I'm trying to think if it would make sense to move closer to it, but for the time being, I think I'm going to sit tight and just keep staring down that corridor and see if the door opens.
Can Liam just throw in on the end of that? Eddie, how's it coming along?
Roll a liaison check for me, please. With are you trying to sound calm about it? Are you trying to be like nervous about it? Are you trying to hurry him along?
Probably just quite matter of fact.
Okay, charisma and liaison then, please.
1d6 plus 4.
Yeah.
Ooh, nice. That's a 6.
Oh, you're coming across really smooth and calm today.
In that one.
There's a slight crackle, and then as you look across the airlock to the open airlock at the Nakuri, you see Eddie's arm give a wave. Luckily, the arm is attached to the rest of his body as that comes around the corner, and his head. And you hear him crackle back. I've got the suit. I've tethered it to a couple more of the tethers. If you want to pull me back over, I'd appreciate it. If you remember, you had buckled some of the tethers to the clip on the outside of the ship.
Yeah.
Ready to sort of pull him back as needed.
Cool. Liam will say, "Yep, sure. We'll get that done now." And then I guess to the other two, will say, "Well, it's now or never." Eddie's on his way back, and then we'll just start pulling.
Ah, a strength check for Liam Deturi. I love it. So, yes. So Eddie, you see him as he steps forward to the edge. He's got the. He looks clumpy because he's carrying an extra whole suit. These that sort of close up together, make sure it's all sealed in itself. That's why it took a few minutes. And yeah, he's got it strapped to him very uncomfortably with some webbing, and he's got it all tied together. And he sort of gives you a thumbs up. He can barely do a run up or anything. And he sort of takes a couple of steps and leaps into the void. It's a 4-meter gap, of course, if you remember. Could you please roll for me, Liam, your strength, please?
Can I get science officer with that? A little bit of physics.
How are you going to get your science officer?
Well, I'll assess his leap at first and judge the angles of which he is travelling, and then find the counter angles to balance him in. Perhaps find the best way. Maybe find a bit of a can't pull it. It's already attached, isn't it? Might be pushing it, or maybe liaise. You know, I'm trying to make him liaise with the ship.
B1 with the ship.
Yeah.
What science did Liam major in? Physics.
No, probably not. I would probably say electronics, being a liaison officer, kind of makes sense, maybe. You know, which is a branch of physics.
I will.
But
I'm going to make you do. I'll tell you what I will do though. I'll let you do education for it then. How about that? If you're going to go, you're talking instead of using strength, you're going to use. It's in space, so the weight of something doesn't really matter so much. The mass of something. So if you want to use education and do it and solve it that way, then I'll allow it for this one.
oh, thanks.
You argued it well. I'll accept a good argument.
That is a 2 plus 4.
Oh, you argued it so well.
Sorry to waste your time, everyone.
It's Eddie you need to apologise to. As he jumps, you see this moment of fear in his eyes as he sort of sees your other hand seeming to make sort of 30-degree angles and little side to sides and sort of trying to calculate things as he leaps, and you overpull what happens, and he clangs. Not that you could hear it, but it looks quite horrible. Into the ship below where you are. You totally misjudged it. The way you pulled it knocked him off his course, and he slammed in a couple of meters below the door. He's still tethered, and the suit is still there, but he's going to struggle to hoik himself up with anything. And all you can hear through the static is quite a lot of swearing at you. Scientist, just use your muscles, idiot. Get me up.
Liam will just say, "Oh shit, sorry," and he'll just keep bringing in slack, I guess.
This is where you're
Which
using,
I guess
this
is
where
all
you're using
slack
strength.
in space.
It's all slack. This is where you're using strength.
You must make a strength roll.
Yes, please.
And that is a 3 plus 3.
It is not going anywhere, and you need to lower your oxygen, and Eddie's got to lower his oxygen, which you won't be happy about, by 5, please. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I imagine while all this is going on, in the moments of silence, all Liam can hear is his own panting. You know, they've just run away from something from the corridor, and after that especially.
Okay. While this is going on, there's no improvement in the situation there, so we need to cut back to the 2 in the corridor with Rosa. They've chosen this time to go incognito on the screen.
Oh, that's disappointing.
Oh, you're back. I can hear you again. That's okay. Ah, phew.
Oh, I just wasn't saying anything. Yes, I don't know. I'm not going anywhere. I'm listening to this Marx Brothers movie playing out in my radio. But I think I should at least call out a check-in with Shay because the other door, the door to engineering, is now not my focus of attention, given that I'm staring past the door to long sleep and down towards the umbilical. So I'm just going to call out to Shay. That door's holding, right?
Is it holding, Luke? I hope so.
Roll an education for me, please.
Okay. Oh, I got a 6, so that's an 8.
It does appear to be holding. If there's anything you can tell the difference, the pretty heavy duty old fashioned hinges on one side are looking a little bit looser than they were, but it still seems to be holding at the moment.
Yeah, it's holding. We could do with hurrying this up though. How's things your end?
Silent and terrifying, but I'm not actually seeing anything other than things that make me frightened.
That's reassuring.
Yes, we if we could turn our back on it and walk away, it would be better. But I feel we're not going to be extra help in the airlock.
I've got your back if you want to go check it out.
All right, I'll do that then. Thanks. And I'm going to make my way down to at least peer through the observation hatch into the open airlock to see if what's going on there.
Okay, the pressurized umbilical. Fantastic.
No, the emergency airlock.
The Liam Deturi airlock. Sorry, we're in a couple of airlock areas now.
I hope it has a plaque.
Yeah.
The Liam Deturi airlock.
The Liam Deturi airlock. Mistakes were made here. You look through it, and what you can see is Liam Deturi's backside, as he's bent over on his knees, is sort of tethered to one of the inside hooks, and appears to be tugging at something outside of the door, which sort of ties in with the panting and the gasping that you're hearing over his comms.
Okay, I'm going to walk the very short distance back to my my last position, where, and I'm going to say, it's all going brilliantly.
Okay. What way are you looking while that's happening, Shay?
I'm looking down towards the pressurized umbilical.
Okie dokie. Could the two of you take 3 oxygen off, please?
3 oxygen, yeah.
Just
Yep.
It feels like it's time you need to. And as you're looking down, Shay, you see the pressurized umbilical door burst open.
Okay. My handgun is totally pointed up and ready.
And you keeping your ground where you are.
Yep.
There's sort of a few seconds, and then a figure emerges dressed in a spacesuit, sort of hunched over, sort of kind of shambly. It staggers and sort of crashes against the wall on the other side.
Okay. I will, still pointing my gun, I'll just tell it to, stay where you are.
Okay.
See if they listen.
I'm just going to roll. They don't seem to have noticed you. They don't appear to be on the same radio system as you, and you and they are both helmeted.
Oh, right, okay. I am going to still hold my ground there till I can get a better look as they come closer. If they come closer.
They do not seem to be getting any closer. They're just sort of hunched over on the wall, shaking somewhat, from what you can tell. They're a bit of a way away. It's quite a distance, of course. So.
I'm just going to radio to Misha then and say, Misha, I might need you to have my back here. Something has emerged from the pressurized umbilical.
Okay, I'm going to, as I make my way back, I'm going to say something or something.
It's in a spacesuit. Whether it's a someone or a something, that's yet to be determined.
Okay, this is actually encouraging. It could have been something with tentacles.
Yeah, there's no tentacles, I don't think.
You can't see any tentacles.
Right, then
But they
I'm
can
going
have
to
3
get
in
back
each arm. For either.
Yes. So I'm going to make it back to that corner point and back up Shay as she needs.
I feel we need to cut and give Liam another chance. It's all depending on how quickly Liam's able to do this. Carson is still struck against the wall on the outside, Liam, with the suit on him. You can hear he's gasping and panting. He's trying to pull his way up, but there's just not the handholds there to help him. He's just out of reach of there's like a meter's worth, which would help him pull up a bit, but he's a meter below that and he can't quite reach up. So we're still relying on your strength. So, Jaril, you've missed Ewan being terrible again at trying to get someone across the void of space.
Every time.
Every time.
Not Ewan, Liam.
Not Liam. Yeah.
Ewan would be worse. Frankly.
Hopefully we'll never have to be in that situation. How you doing, Jaril? You doing okay?
At this point, can I suppose after some time of trying and nothing happening, can Liam just wrap the tether that's attached to Eddie around his around his arm, and he's tethered onto the ship, right? So can you just, uh, your legs are stronger than your arms, so just start turning, like to twist himself up in the tether to the ship, and getting a bit of momentum at least to get Eddie starting going in the right direction, and then start pulling.
I like this. Have a strength roll, please.
That's a 1.
Well, it's
+3.
It seemed like such a great idea at the time, but the first time you attempt it, you don't get it quite right. You sort of tangle yourself up more than anything else. There might be an idea there, but this first time, it doesn't feel right. And you hear from Clarkson shouting at you, "What's up, Dottore? What are you doing? Get me up there. Come on, time's wasting."
Liam just puts on straining noises. Probably not straining too much, but he'll. Okay, you weigh a ton. How much did you have for breakfast?
My weight doesn't matter in space, Dottore. Stop delaying. I need 3 more oxygen off you, Liam.
Wonderful. Got it. That's 53.
It is. But yet still no Clarkson. So we go back to the corridor.
Sorry.
And to show Misha and the hunched over spacesuited figure opposite the umbilical. And are you happy to look and see how things are going, or are you doing anything with it?
Yeah, I'm still just pointing my pistol at it just in case.
The problem I've got is if it stays there and doesn't move, that's good in one sense, but it's bad in another, because we might end up having to go and find it when we are trying to all hustle out of the ship.
Yeah.
So I'm going to quickly say to Shay, I'm going to get a bit closer and see if I can see anything through the visor.
Okay.
And start setting off towards the bridge.
Okie dokie. So as we know, that's quite a distance. That's tens of meters. It's quite a long corridor. As you walk down, the figure's kind of on all fours a little, trying to sort of pull itself up against the wall, but not able to. Sort of trying to... It's looking quite pitiful in a way, dragging itself along a little bit, stopping, falling over. It's probably made about 5 meters towards you, very, very slowly.
So how close will I get to it before it's time for Liam to try and wrap himself in more cable?
I reckon I'll get you down about one turn before you will get close to the figure. So like one more turn, give him another chance, and then the next turn you would be with the figure.
So essentially I can make it sort of halfway.
Yeah, halfway from where you are, yeah.
All right, okay. All right, then I will aim to do that. I will obviously cast a little sidelong glance at the door to Long Sleep 2 as I go past.
Okay.
But I'm not going to stop and waste any time there.
As before in Long Sleep 2, as you look through, you see that sort of the greeny goo with that sort of being scooped out a little bit, of course, and the usual bits, the old sleep pods in there that have been reused for some weedy looking plants and that are all dead. But nothing else in there. You know that some of the mutated souls had been in there, but it seems to have gone a bit quite strangely quiet in there since you quietly shut the door.
Okay, that can't be good. Anyway, yes, I shall press on then. I'll call back to Shay and say nothing seems to be happening in Long Sleep.
Okay, I've got you covered anyway.
Brilliant. And obviously I've got the shotgun out.
I wouldn't expect anything else. Shay, could you roll for me, please? What have we got on your skills? It would just be an education, actually, for me, please.
Okay, she's not great at this.
No.
She's got a 3, so that's a 5.
Okay, they're still banging on the engineering door. Sounds a bit louder than before. Something sounds a little bit different, but you can't quite place it.
Okay.
And yeah, Rosa is sort of seems to be praying at the minute. Sort of, what's taking so long? What's going on? Why is it taking so long? Come on, we need to get off here. We need to get off here. Almost like talking to herself more than anything else. She seems very stressed at this point. Luckily, there is one man that can save this stress and make everything better. He's the man with the muscles, the man with the master plan, Liam Deturi.
Who never makes a bad roll.
Never makes a bad roll.
Never. He'll stop his panting for a minute. Eddie, right, ready? Is there anything out there? Just get a bit of momentum. Give me a hand on 3.
Okay. You've actually asked for some interaction from him. I'm going to make a roll for him. Bear with me a second. Okay, what we got?
1,
Okay.
2, 3.
Okay. This time, as you see him. He's a strong guy. He's got a lot on him, of course, but he's a strong guy. And you see that as you sort of count it with him, for the first time you actually count it together, he pushes down with his foot hard on the rung below him to try and force him upwards at the same time as you pull. So can you roll a strength for me, please? But this is going to be an easier roll to make.
Whew. I'm mostly curious as to how easy rolls work out with drinking games and whether a bad roll that passes is still a bad roll. It's 4 plus 3 is 7.
An easy roll that fails is a double. But an easy roll, as we say, is a 7. A 7 is a slightly easier roll. And this time, as you sort of pull him, you manage to get it so he wraps his arms up into that meter below of the piping, and with your help, he's able to start pulling his way up. He's still outside the ship, but he's getting closer, and you're sort of helping where you can. And this is a good thing.
Before we cut away, I guess Liam will just get on the comms to the other two and he'll say, Eddie's almost in. I'm Liam. So what's going on? We're both almost in the airlock.
That's good news.
And that's, I guess I'll just continue trying to help him in.
Okay. So this is looking good. And Misha's halfway towards this poor old figure in the suit.
Yeah.
They might not be poor all. They might be rich and young. Sorry, I shouldn't flavour your thinking. Do you want to continue your route towards them?
Yes, I do. I'm going to get as close as I need to. Try not to actually touch, if possible, and peer in through the visor of the helmet.
Okie dokie. So you sort of take those last few steps closer. Shotgun still in hand, of course.
Yeah.
As the figure starts reaching out to you. Again, you can't hear between the two helmets, but they're dragging themselves towards you. And as you get close, they put their arm up onto your shoulder for the support, almost like relief. And they sort of pull themselves up slightly, and you sort of look into the visor. And I really wish it's break time, but it's not. And I need you to roll for me on your pressure. because what greets you is another horrific, irradiated, husky human beast with half its face sort of melted away, like open sores inside, wild eyes leering back at you.
Excellent stuff. How do I roll on pressure?
So pressure is your strength plus education.
Strength plus education is 7. So I roll 1d6 plus 7.
Yep, and you need to hit 10 or more to mean you're okay.
Okay. My pressure level is currently 2. 2 X's. Does that count as a negative?
No, but you're gonna need to do something in a minute. You're gonna
Okay.
need to roll a d6 in a minute.
Okie dokie. So that was a 4 plus 7 is 11 for the pressure roll.
Okay, so your pressure does not increase. It's a shocking moment, but you're already very stressed, and so your stress doesn't spike. But can you roll a d6 for me, please?
Yep. That can't be good. That's a 1.
A 1. Okay, as you look into that horrific face so close to you, you're unsure what was in there until that moment. You can't stop yourself. You start shaking uncontrollably. You can't do anything to stop it. You need to reduce your agility by 1.
Okie dokie.
And as you do that, let me just check something. As you're shaken and unable to do anything about it, the creature flings you hard against the corridor wall, knocking you to the ground, the shotgun scattering out your hand on the ground, and it charges headlong down the corridor towards Shay. Now, all Shay can see is a space-suited figure that's just thrown her crewmate to the ground, charging towards her.
Yeah, I think she's going to shoot. She's going to try and shoot.
Okie dokie. Now, your weapon. You've got a pistol, right? I need to put up the weapons grid. Bear with me a second. See, if we were an aggressive stream, we'd have the weapons grid up all the time. We're just not a very aggressive group, really, generally. Right, let's find it. Weapons. You've got range on this pistol. And really, ideally, if you wait for them, if you're where they are now is over 20 meters away, you need to hit bigger for it. So
Okay.
I will count down the arrow. So up 20 and over, you need to roll higher. Between 6 and 18, you roll sort of the medium number. And then if it's really close, you don't need to roll so high, but you're not going to get as many attempts, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm feeling the medium option.
Are we booning tonight as well, Luke?
Yeah, I'll boon it. Why not? I feel generous.
Wonderful. Kelly has redeemed a boon for Shay.
Thank you, Kelly.
I didn't put boons on last night. I didn't realise it. So when Kelly was saying, I can't boon for Cara, I was like, and then I was like, oh, yeah, I noticed today that the boon had been turned in. Okay. So I'm going to need to go into combat mode for this, because there's things happening. Initiative. Shay and Misha, can you please roll 1d6 plus agility?
Yes, which is currently 1 for me.
Yep. I've got 8.
And I've got 3.
Nice.
Okay. The creature rolled somewhere between the 2. So Jilly, you are up first. It is currently about 25 meters from you, and at its pace, it'll be about 15 meters away next turn. So what it's going to do is it's going to close it. So it is going to run. So it's 25 meters now, and it's running at you. So it's your choice now. So you're at long range.
I'm going to wait, I think, till it's a little bit closer.
Okie dokie. That is cool. It is going to run 10 meters towards you, so it's close into about 15 meters away. Misha.
Okay.
I can't fire the shotgun at it
Hey,
with Shay the other side of it.
The shotgun's not in your hand yet either, if you remember. It's going to take you a whole turn to gather the shotgun back, quite frankly.
Right.
How you doing, Croy? You okay?
How long does it take to draw the pistol?
You can do that as I'm going to call it an action, so you can use that like a minor action, so you can draw a pistol with one thing.
And it's still within 20 meters of me, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm going to take a shot.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's getting further away from me, so the sooner I shoot, the better.
Yes, it will go to long range next time.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
They. Yes. Okay. So you need to roll a 1d6 plus your agility.
Okay. So this plus 1. Okay, that could be better than... That's 6 plus 1 is 7.
Okie dokie. Right. Could you roll a 1d6 for me, please?
Certainly can. That's another 6.
Okay.
I don't know if that's good, though, this time.
That is not bad. You seem to have winged the thing. Something studded into the suit. You can't quite tell the damage it's done, of course. But the creature is still charging forwards. But there does appear to be leaking something out of its leg. Through the suit.
Leaking isn't good.
Leaking can be many things. But it still charges forwards. It's all good, Croy. It's all good. Sailing the raft in VR sounds so beautiful. I've heard that's got a really good VR port for it. Sounds very relaxing. Be careful of the shark, though. Right. Shay. The creature is charging towards you. Leaking isn't good. It's definitely worth a drink. Leaking behind it. And it is about 15 minutes. 15 minutes, you wish. 15 meters away from you. It is at mid-range.
Right, I'm going to try and shoot.
Oh, and Liam, drop your ammo for your pistol. Sorry, one.
Misha,
sorry.
Yes, I've done so.
Okay, roll a 1d6 plus your agility, please, Shay.
Okay, that's not good. Got a 2, so that's a 5.
A 5. As you fire, you miss. Which way are you going to miss? Let's have a look. Okay, you've misjudged the distance and the pace of the creature, and you fire into the ground about a meter in front. Sort of, there's a slight ricochet off as a sort of a pew, sort of that glimmer as the bullet flies in, but sadly does no damage.
there is also a boon. Don't forget.
Do you want to take the boon?
I will take the boon.
Right, roll one more for me then. Roll one more time.
Slightly better. I got a 3, so that's 6.
A 6. At close range, that's still not good enough, I'm afraid.
Nope.
So we'll stick with that first. Just take 1 ammo, but that was the best of your 2 options.
Okay.
And the creature is gonna still charge at you. It's limping a little bit now, but it's to within from there. If that's doing that, it's 10 meters away. It's been slowed down, So if nothing else, Misha has bought you time. Is 10 meters, which is still mid-range away, but is now at long range for Misha.
Okay.
And over to you, Misha.
It's going a bit more slowly now. If I sprint as best I can towards it, can I get within medium range of it and then take a shot?
You can't run and attack at the same time. So run would be your turn. So you could run 10, you'd gain 5 meters on it this time. You could gain 5 meters on it again the next time. So there's that sort of thing. So you're currently 20, and it's 10 from there. So you're 25 meters from it. So you could close to within 15, but then it gets another go before you.
Okay, so
Let's just put this on the map. I'm doing a rubbish update in the map.
My agility, the way it is, I'm not going to be able to hit it realistically. Okay, the only thing I'm going to be able to do then, I think, is I will pick up the shotgun.
Yep.
So at least I've got it available. I will just wondering.
Kelly's giving you a boon if you need it. Kelly's been saving up points.
This feels a bit gamey, but can you give me some idea what I'd have to hit with my boon in order to hit it?
From that distance, you've picked up your shotgun. I can't make you do an attack this time because you've had to walk over to pick it up. I'll let you run 5 meters. It's sort of half and half a turn, but you can't pick up the shotgun before it's been scattered and fired. But you can close it within, and it's slowing down. It won't get to Gilly by next turn, so you'll still get a shot next turn if you need it.
All right. Okay, we'll give that a shot then. I'll move as best I can towards it.
So running, I can
thank you, Kelly. I will. I will try to use it as best I can.
I can only give you 10 meters instead of the 10 meters running pace. I can give you 5 meters running. So you've had to sort of get down and get the shotgun, if you know what I mean. So you've got 5 meters. So you've closed to within 20 meters of it, and the beast is 10 meters. I'm building it up now. The beast is 10 meters from Shay, and it's Shay's turn.
Yeah. I can't remember if I actually yelled at Shay exactly what was in it, so I'm going to yell out as I run. It's a slime monster.
I'm sure that'll change your strategy.
Yeah, let's try and shoot it again.
Okay, you're still at mid-range. These shaky agility negatives are not good for this, are they?
No.
So you need a d6 plus your agility, please.
Okay, so it's 3 plus... it's another 5.
Another 5. Again, you fire and there's that shaking in your hands, the shock of what's happening. And this time it pings into the wall near the long sleep door. Sort of near the glass, just as well it didn't shatter it probably. And just sort of thuds into that, makes a horrible spark. And cracks to the ground. And still it approaches. It's slowing still. And this time it gets to within 5 meters of you. And you need to lose another ammo, so you're down to 8, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, it's within 5 meters of you and 25 of Misha. And it's Misha's turn.
Oh God! Is 25 medium range for the shotgun?
It is. I believe it's still far range. The most damage a shotgun can do at far range is 5. It can do huge damage up front. So it's limited at distance, but it can still do damage. But it is far range.
Okay. Got to take a shot. I've got a boon. I'm going to take a shot.
Okay, 1d6 plus your agility.
It's only +1 then. Wow, that's terrible. That's a 2 total.
With the
But I
boom.
do have a boon. Hang on.
Okay.
Oh, that's a bit better. That's a 4 total.
Okay. And your shotgun shell explodes into the ceiling above it. You sort of misjudged it with your shaking hands, sending a shower of sparks over the shambler. Like, actually, you picked the range quite well. You just couldn't pick the angle. Jareer is doomed tonight. And the sparks sort of illuminate it even more terrifyingly as the light starts flickering behind its frame as it closes in on Shay. And it's Shay's turn. She is 5 meters away from this oozing, flickering behind, sprays around it as it leers towards you. You are at close range.
Let's try shooting it one more time.
Okay, 1d6 plus agility.
Oh no. That's a 4.
That's a 4. The sheer panic of it and your inability to shoot has well and truly returned. As the flickering, I guess, you can't quite judge its position anymore. It's suddenly nearly upon you. And you fire past its shoulder down the corridor. Luckily not into Misha. Yes, Kelly, she only needed to roll a 6 instead of a 7. So it gets easier, but still struggling. And as you sort of fire off and you sort of have this moment, oh, I've missed again. The shambly creature jumps at you and is into 0 range. It's into hand-to-hand combat range. That was its movement turn, but it is now in hand-to-hand range. And you can feel its weight on you, and you can see its face through the helmet. You've been warned as to what it was, which is why you haven't got to roll a panic. Well done, Ben. But it's still very unpleasant. It's sort of its face. You can see that saliva against the screen, oozing. It's splashing against the screen as it, with the helmet, as it's sort of shouting down at you, sort of gnashing at you. Misha, they're in hand-to-hand combat, and you are now about 30 meters away.
So, if I shoot, I could now hit Shay.
Yes.
Then shooting is not going to be the thing I'm going to be doing.
I mean, with the rolls that we're having tonight, you might be okay.
Yeah, this. I fondly remember that time I rolled 2 6s, and since then it's all been downhill. Okay, I'm going to. All I can do is charge as close as I can get.
Yeah. You're to within 20 meters at this point.
Okay.
Back up to Shay. I'm going to say you're in inescapable hand-to-hand combat. There's no way you're getting out of it. But you've got first call at this because it is closed in on you. You're going to get to make a roll.
Okay.
What is in your hand? What have you got on you? What is sort of... You've got your pistol or anything else?
I've got my pistol. I've got the butt of my pistol. Damn it, I've left the stilts on this ship.
Ah. You could have clunked to either side of the helmet with the stilts.
I think that's all I've got, the butt of my pistol.
But the pistol is fine. It'll count as a melee to some extent. And the beast is injured, of course. Could you please roll me... The hand-to-hand is both combatants are going to roll. Okay, so it is so I've got their strength to roll. I need you to roll a 1d6 plus your strength. Now this is better for you.
Hey.
This is better for you.
I've got an 8.
Nice.
Which...
Oh no, sorry, that's a 9. Sorry.
Oh.
I don't know, I took a penalty off that then.
Which,
a 9.
believe it or not, has outpowered the creature as it's charged. And
better.
I'm going to tell you what I'm going to let you do with that roll and its stats and your thing. You've put it down. and I want not killed it, but I want you to explain to me how you've managed this. You've knocked it to the ground.
Well, I've just given it an almighty thwack with the butt of my pistol, really. No messing, just straight up
Straight
to the noggin.
Straight to the noggin. Ah, lovely. As you slam the butt of the pistol through the helmet, splinters somewhat, and sort of crumples. It's a knackered old suit when you actually get a look at it, and you do make some sort of contact into it, and it crumbles to the floor. A momentary look of shock in its face, and as it sort of with its snarling pauses, and it collapses to the ground. And from what you can tell, it's still breathing, but it's not moving. And you are there, shaken, shocked, some sort of tearing at your, it's not torn through the suit, but it's looked to it, sort of been trying to pull at your suit, and it's there at your feet. And it's there you can notice how heavily you're breathing and babbling in your ears.
Yeah.
As Misha runs up to you, for we are out of combat.
Oh, good.
That was a close one.
That was one.
As I walk up, I sort of, gently tap Shay on the shoulder and say, "Well done. I'm sorry about that. I think that was my fault. I should remember, don't leave your wingman."
That's okay. I got there in the end.
And then I'm going to call out to Liam and say, "It's getting increasingly monstery in here. Any update?"
As he's pulling Eddie, or attempting, as he's helping Eddie in through the airlock, he'll say, "Yeah, it's getting increasingly monstery in here as well," and shoot a wink at Eddie.
Which you're able to do because in that time and with your roll that time, Eddie is pulling himself over the cusp into the airlock itself, sort of rolling into the space, and sort of there's no sort of getting to once he's over there, he's sort of able to sort of float a bit in the airlock space, and he immediately turns around to that door to pull it shut. As he turns to you, Liam says, "The second I'm shut with this, you press the button to pressurize, okay?"
Yeah, sure. And Liam will get over the comms to the other two and say, "We're about to cycle now."
And Eddie pulls the door, slams it shut, and he's sort of bobbing there for a second. He says, "Deturi, now, press it."
Push the button.
I'll let you do that. You've done it before. I'm not going to make you roll for it. He misses the button, adds an extra 2 minutes. And you hear and feel that hiss and the sort of the gravity coming back. You feel yourself getting heavier, and there's that thud to the ground as oxygen fills the space. And the light blinks green on the inside and red on the outside. And I need everyone involved to take away 6 oxygen, please.
Oh.
Okay. All right.
And you know what? It's a happy moment because the door opens, the crew are back together. Liam walks out with Eddie. Get to look around and see this sort of unconscious, sort of kind of breathing creature on the floor. A shaking Shay, a rather shaking Misha, quite frankly. A cowering, praying Rosa. And it's a wonderful family moment, and it's the right time to take a break. It's a happy break.
Happy. Good. Yes. Well, we're still alive.
Just honestly, Just about.
Wow, that was a series of bad rolls.
That was not lucky for a while there.
Basically, there are three main things there. I'm still on stream, but there's still three main things there. Ben winging the creature, Ben shouting out the warning, and Gilly being tough and strong. Thank goodness. So well done, guys. Right, you got through the bad rolls. For now, let's take 5 minutes, and then we'll come back and let's get you off this ship and in your bunks before we know it. Yeah, no more surprises.
Plain sailing from here on out.
It's all plain sailing, baby.
Yeah. Time for tea and biscuits.
That's what it's all about. Right, let's get the music started.
Brilliant. Yes. See everyone in a few minutes when we come back from our break.
Hello everyone, we're back. Welcome to the second half of tonight's Boys from the Baltic Star, where we play Those Dark Places. A very good point was made by whoever it was at the start. I didn't know if this was the name, if it was the name of our game or the system we were using. And we do tend to just call it by, hey, we're Orbital Blues or Those Dark Places. Maybe we should come up with a nice name for it. But I can't think of one. So for now, Those Dark Places. And we're back with the crew, who have had some very dark moments in these dark places, and hopefully things are going to go towards those sunlit uplands. But you know what happened last time we were promised sunlit uplands? Things just got worse. Let's hope that doesn't happen tonight. So our beloved crew are all together. Well, not Evan, of course, that's sad. And not Carla, she's on the Nakuru. But Eddie's back with an extra suit for Rosa. Shay's still alive, everyone. Round of applause for Shay.
Yes, well done.
And Liam finally managed to get his muscles together, and they're all stood in the corridor. I'm guessing they've sort of moved their way over to where Shay is and where the body is, and they're hunkered around, looking at each other for what to do next.
Well, first things first, I'm going to hand the shotgun to Eddie again.
Eddie sort of nods at you. He said, how did you find it?
It was more useful for bludgeoning things than shooting things.
You're not the first person that said that. Thanks for returning it to me in one piece.
That's all right. There were a few pieces missing. I fired off a few rounds. There are only 4 left.
Yeah, he sort of checks the shells, counts them out, sort of nods at you, sort of does a few calculations in his head, and then sort of peers down the corridor briefly at the umbilical and then pokes at the figure on the floor. He said, "Is it dead?"
I don't think so. I think it's just unconscious.
Okay.
I suggest we get off here as quickly as possible. I don't know about you guys.
We're
Off
taking
is definitely the direction we want.
Mm-hmm.
we're taking the body back though to study, right? I'm not saying we'd find anything, but we could get some serious time for information on this, whatever this is.
Something in my brain is screaming, dust off and nuke it from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
Clarkson shoots you a look. He says, "Don't you dare. 6 months of overtime leaving this thing floating around. Leave the clean-up crew to sort it out. Let them deal with the beasts."
Yeah, works for me. Let them deal with the beasts.
Tyrell gets another chance to drink at another terrible bad sci-fi cliche. He sort of drops the soup to the floor. He says, "Can someone get Rosa into that?"
Yeah, I mean, I'll start helping with that.
Shay, you okay to keep an eye on the other corridor?
Yeah, I'll keep an eye on the engineering door.
Cool. Could you roll for me? Let's do a check. Liam, is there anything you want to do at this moment before we see if any of you are any good at your jobs?
No, Liam will probably just take this moment to catch his breath and say, "Well, I'll just wait here to liaise." Stretch.
You liaised very well. I'm not going to make you roll for that.
There's nothing to liaise with. It's all
aching
unconscious. No, that's fine. Cool.
Okay, Misha, you're going to help the kind of rocking and whimpering and praying Rosa.
Yeah, I'm going to say to her, we're going to make a a quick trip through hard vacuum. So you need to help me get you in this.
She sort of looks across at the creature, and then there's another couple of bodies that are down there, of course, not in suits, and sort of the wall and listen to the banging behind at engineering that she sort of seems to be aware of suddenly. At the airlock at the suit at you. Could you roll a liaison for me, please?
A liaison?
Yes.
Well, I don't have any liaison.
Now's the time to try.
So this is a D6 plus nothing, right?
You must have at least a 1. Did you lose it on something?
Charisma.
No, I don't have liaison.
Oh, sorry, charisma. Roll a charisma. Sorry, not a liaison.
Oh, charisma.
Oh,
Yep.
Charisma. Sorry, I'm mixing up my things.
That's a mighty 2 as a total.
Okay. She doesn't seem sure, and she clutches her knees a bit tighter.
I'm nervous about asking people to help me overpower her. Yeah, that was a very bad roll.
Bad roll, take a drink.
I'm just going to, try and tap her gently on the shoulder and say, we're here to help you, but you've got to help us as well.
Okay. She'll snap out of it at that point. Of course, she wants to go, but because it took that longer to break through her at the start, it's just going to take that bit longer to get the suit on her, if that makes sense.
Yep.
And she seems almost unable. It's like she wants to help, but she can't. She pretty much will hold out her arms and legs and her body, but she's almost like a mannequin that you're having to dress.
Great, she's Garfielding.
It's better than sandbagging.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. While she's doing that, Shay, what are you? Where are you looking? What's going on?
I'm still looking at that banging door engineering.
Good old banging door. Roll an education, please.
Okay, so it's 2 plus 2 is 4.
Okay. It sounds different. It looks shakier. And that's about all you can tell. It seems louder, less muffled, as if noise is actually getting through it. But that's all I can tell you.
Any chance we could get more of a wiggle on, maybe?
Liam will say, "Yeah, sorry, I'll help as well," and he'll assist Misha in trying to get the suit on, I guess.
That is good. Cool. Could you each take off 5 oxygen for me, please?
Yes.
We've got loads left. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, loads.
It's Liam you've got to worry about.
Liam's on a good number, 42.
Oh, it's an excellent number.
It's hard to die when you're on 42 oxygen. It's the meaning of life, after all.
She says hard to die on 42. I
take it back.
In his excitement at his figure, he breathes a bit heavier and loses 1 more oxygen.
Thanks, Luke. It's fair though.
Only fair.
Yeah, that's what you get for being cocky.
Yes. So, Liam, if you're going to help Misha, that will speed up the number of turns that it's taken. I've got an amount in my mind. Let's put it that way, of how long it's going to take. You're sort of getting it on. You're welcome to do it at that speed or try something to speed her up. It might work, might not work. But you're sort of slowly pulling the suit on carefully, making sure it's sort of going at the bottom half is sort of going over her legs, up to her waist and so on.
Yeah. I'm tempted not to try and hurry her, because anything I would say that would encourage her to move quickly might also make her go paralytic with fear.
Liam's not. He'll chime in. He'll just say, look, we've a safe ship over there with some. We've got food. We've got hot drinks. We're gonna get you there, but we need to get this on first. And the quicker we can do it, the better.
Oh, now you can roll a charisma with a liaison.
Oh, it's a 6 + 4.
Ah, you smoothie. For the first time in ages, she catches someone in the eyes, and it's you. And sort of her eyes sort of widen a bit. Her lips stop babbling, and she sort of puts on sort of a grim look, and she nods. She nods to you, and she starts helping to sort of pull up the bottom half of the suit as you guys sort of prepare the top half, and sort of check out, make sure the helmet's all okay and stuff like that.
Liam will just give her, a reassuring nod back and carry on.
As they're busy, Shay, you feel a nudge at this point in your side from Clarkson. Hey, Hawkins.
Clarkson.
You follow his nod down to where the creature is now lying there with eyes open. And he says, do you want to finish this, or shall I?
I'll let you have the honour, seeing as you missed all the action.
It does. Clarkson doesn't want to make too much of a noise, so he is going to raise the butt of the shotgun. And I need to make a roll on this. At the creature. Okay. Let's check that thing. And let's check something else. As he raises the butt of the shotgun high above the sort of the smashed visor of the helmet into the creature's face, it lets out an ear-piercing shriek. It's the first time you've been able to hear it. The helmet is smashed open. Everything's quite quiet at the point, and you hear this shrill shriek as the butt of the shotgun crashes down into its face, shattering the face rather horrifically. It's oozing in many places right now, including over the wall, and Hawkins and Clarson's legs, unfortunately, are a bit gooey now. It's quite dramatic, but the body slumps. But again, you can't help but notice that the sound on the engineering door has changed somewhat. And a few seconds later, you again hear that howling and shrieking of creatures. You've heard it before, coming down the other corridor.
What, towards the bridge?
Yes. Like they've done before. It's a bit of a long way round. They're still banging on the engineering, but it's slightly different, and you hear that screeching coming the other way.
I'll just turn to Clarkson and say, "You got my back, right?"
I got your back.
Okay, and I will point my gun towards the bridge.
Okay. What Clarkson does is he noses open the door to Longsleep 2, because of course there's two ways to get to you, and he sort of pushes that door open. He seems to pull something across and crouch behind it just inside the doorway, looking across away from you. So he's taking some kind of cover, and he says, "Make sure you're okay, Hawkins. I have no idea how many are coming. We've got to buy some time, yeah?"
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. Liam and Misha, you help. How about, I'll tell you what. How do you want to help this woman get dressed quicker? There's many different ways. Using many of your different skills, I'm going to give you a chance to speed it up a bit more. Sell it to me.
How do you help women get dressed quicker? This is
know.
like the secret of life.
I've
If
been
we
married
could
18
crack
years,
this
I don't
one,
know.
I don't know. Tell her her bum doesn't look big in it.
Oh, no.
I genuinely don't know. I just want to sort of as she's struggling into it, anything I can do to literally help pull things straight and avoid kinks in arms and things like that, to just ease her through it, make it as easy as possible for her.
Yeah. I don't. So you doing it in sort of through knowledge of how the suit works, or through tugging at it? Yeah. Okay.
Through. Well, I've put on a suit like this myself before. I know that sometimes when you're pulling them on, you end up with the arms sort of folded and tucked underneath, and you then can't push your fist through it, so to speak. So I'm going to just make sure that everything is as smooth and as easy for her as possible.
Okay. Roll in education. You're going for the knowledge of how things work.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
You've read an encyclopedia on spacesuits.
And education. Okay, that's not too bad. Well, I say that's not too bad. That is a total of 5.
Okay. That has not helped at all. It seems like you're doing the right thing, but for some reason her elbow doesn't seem to be doing the right thing when you think it's doing the right thing. It's quite frustrating. I'm sure this is how I should be speeding it up, and it's not quite working.
Okay.
You're willing, she's willing. I don't know. It's like when you put the arm into the wrong hole or something, and it looks like it should be right.
We're not connecting somehow, yeah.
Liam, is there anything you can do to improve the speed?
Oh, I guess I'll fall back on the only thing he appears to be good at. Can Liam talk her through really calmly and try and be as calm but as quick as he can? He'll just be like, right now, and put your right arm out and straight, and he'll talk her through the body motions to help facilitate getting things on, I guess.
I like your thinking. Charisma and liaison, please. She has made eye contact with you.
That's a 3 plus 4 is a 7.
Okay. A 7 on that is a success, but not a perfect one. So, it might work out, because now she's so caught up in what you're doing. It aids her, but it means she's paying no attention whatsoever to what Misha's trying to do.
Too much.
So anything that Misha's trying to do will not help anymore. Not that he was hindering, quite frankly. But yeah, she's totally bought into you, Liam, and she's sort of pulling her arms into the right thing. She's looking to you for sort of, making sure it's all connected together. That you're going to make sure she's okay, got the helmet on. She's won over to you at the minute. But you're going to get her out of here.
Cool. And he'll be as reassuring as he can after every step without coming across patronising, I suppose.
As you sort of half turn away from it, Misha, you hear from crackling over the headset from Clarkson. You hear a, "Here they come!" And you hear one shotgun shell fire off. And then there's a moment of silence.
How close is she to finishing being in the suit?
Check the seals of the gloves. Get the helmet on. Check the seals. She's close.
Okay. Then I'm going to help finish getting her sorted as best I can. I'm going to ignore the shouting and shooting for the moment.
Okie dokie. So, like I say, she's totally focused on Liam, but you double checking seals and that is not, doing the supporting role, as it were. She'll let you sort of check the boots, check the wrists, and so on. while she's
Yeah.
sort of focused on Liam keeping her calm. She barely notices you're there, but you're doing a good job. Well done, you.
And as soon as that's done and I'm confident she's safely secured in the suit, I'm pulling out a pistol and going to back up the other two.
So you sort of get those gloves on and leave Liam with the last, the helmet, the last piece to sort of put on and seal as she sort of stares at him. As you pull out your pistol and come around the corner, you see Shay. How are you? Are you stood? Are you knelt? What's your position, Shay?
I'm stood facing off towards the bridge.
Which is why you see that door slam open, Shay.
Yay!
And here they come indeed. There's still a good...
Okay.
That is a good, what have we said? That's 40 metres away still. That is still some distance.
Okay. I'm going to hold my shot then.
That is very long range, yeah.
Yeah, definitely hold it.
Clarkson says, have you got them in the corridor?
Yep.
You hear another shotgun shell it sort of explode off. He says, that's 2 down. I can't hold it for long. We need to get out of here now. I guess we're going to need to take it into combat turns for this last bit of feels.
Probably.
Yeah. Could you all roll initiative for me, please?
Yep. So that's 1d6 plus what?
I'll just throw that one away.
1d6. Bad news for you guys. 1d6 plus agility.
Okay, that's a total of 6 for me.
And me.
I've got a 5.
Now, let me write 6. You are, hang on a sec. 6 for Misha. 6 for Liam. 5 for Shay. Okay, let's roll for Eddie. Here's... Okay. And let's roll for some critters. Okay. Cool. The first one to move is Eddie, and you hear one more shotgun shell explode, and you hear him shout, "Got the bastard!" Right, long sleep 2's empty for now. Go, go, go. Misha and Liam, can you re-roll? Because we need to re-roll ties for initiative. Could you re-roll your initiative? It's between the two of you, though. It's not going to drop you down or anything.
I missed my tray. Hold on.
Mine's a 3.
And mine's a 2.
Ah, you're rolling so well tonight. Liam, is your initiative up next? You are stood around that corner near the emergency airlock with Rosa, with the helmet in hand, basically just putting it over her head, I guess.
Tell me how much is possible. He'll put the helmet on and secure the helmet.
Yeah, a round is 5 seconds long. You can definitely put it and start pulling the things in. Yeah, you can do that as your turn.
Can he also get over comms and just say we're there, we're good to go? Assuming it'll take them a little while to get back.
Yep, I'll allow that. I'm not going to make you roll anything for it. It's a simple radio thing to your crew who are on your side, and you've flicked things on helmets many times. You're cool with that, so that's not a problem. So you and Rosa are outside the airlock. She is helmeted. You've got your helmet on and everything. I need all of you to drop your oxygen by 4, please.
Yes, can do.
Oh no, forgot about that extra one.
That's going to make all the difference when you're floating outside
It
for
might
20 minutes.
do. If it does, Luke.
Okay. Misha, you hear that over the radio just as it's sort of coming to your turn.
Right, I'm going to peer around the corner up towards the bridge.
Yep. You see there are what I'm going to do, let's move you here. What I've done before, and I know it's weird for anyone watching, is there's a little Evan figure, because I haven't got a Shambly one. He's going to show you how far along they are, if that makes sense. As a visual
It's not
thing.
weird for me at all. When I see Evan, I
You like-
automatically want to shoot him with a pistol.
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it suits me down to the ground.
They're on the pressurised umbilical. They're about 35 metres from where you stand.
Right. So I'm going to take a shot, and as I line it up, I'm also going to yell out to Clarson, "Clarson, we are leaving," and take my shot.
Okay, so at long range with firearms, that's a 1d6 plus agility.
Okay, that's a total of 2.
Your shout and your pose seems to be more bravado, proving a point than actually being successful. That's at least what you told yourself as the shot missed wildly. It probably looked good, but it was not a good shot.
No, I'm getting that. That was that was not a great shot. No.
Still, could have been worse probably. Right, these are moving. These were next. These are moving, and they are now 25 meters away from you guys, and it is Shay's turn.
Okay, I am going to fire a shot off.
Okie dokie. For you, they are still at far range. 1d6 plus agility, please.
Oh, that's a 6 altogether.
Now, this shot is better than Misha's, and that's maybe something you can
Quite a lot better.
you can boast about round the table, eating some of your slush when you get back into the ship, if you get back to the ship. But as much as you can brag about it, it still doesn't come close to hitting the first of the horde, as I'm going to call them for now. At this point, Clarson has sort of poked his head round the corner, and he sort of kicks the whatever it is that he had holding the door open away from the door, and the door swings shut behind him, and he is now stood in the corridor, sort of maybe 5 meters closer to them than you are, with shotgun raised. But that's his turn, the kicking away in the movement. Liam. Oh, Liam's dropped. Oh no.
Oh, this is a problem.
He had one of these last night, didn't he? There we go. Next yeah. That's all right. We'll just raise tension while he's away. He is next, and we do need to do him next. Oh well, never mind. See, I was disconnected from there. Okay, you can hear us. Yeah, let's message you.
I'm hoping to the airlock. There you go. That's what he's doing.
Okay.
I'm guessing he's taking our largely helpless person with him.
Yeah. With that amount of time, what I am going to do is I'm going to roll something for her though, so that's okay. Yes, Kelly. Liam did. He's dropped off. Okay. She'll happily follow you. She seems a bit more G'd on by it and by the gunfire and everything going on, and she can be taken into the airlock. And Liam and Rosa are in the airlock. That is good news. Good news.
That is good news.
And as for Misha, he is still outside around the corner looking at the horde about 25 metres away, and it's his turn.
25 meters still long range for the pistol.
Yes, it's all long range for everything. It's just that different weapons can do different damage at more powerful at different distances, if that makes sense.
Okay, so they've got to get within 20 to be a practical shot for me?
Yeah, you're going to miss right now, whatever you do, really. What with your agility, taking a knock.
With an agility of 1, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to hold position for the time being. I've got I may have no agility, but I've got lots of strength. So if it comes down to a melee, I should be at the front, I think. So I'm going to hold position and see if I can arrange it so I'm kind of the last one into the airlock, if that makes sense.
That does make sense. Okie dokie, so you sort of hold position there. They are going to move another 10 metres closer, so they're now 15 away from Hawkins and Renkov. And it is Hawkins to go next.
Yeah, I think now's the time to start retreating into the airlock. Clarkson and Misha have got this, it's fine.
Are you just like going for it? You're just going for
Yeah, I shall, retreat to the airlock.
Yeah. With that roll, with the amount you can go 10 metres, which is to your airlock. You're absolutely fine, you're in the airlock.
Okay.
And you're also in the airlock, resisting the urge to press the button to be safe.
Would I do that?
Part of me would love to see you try. So the two of you are in, and we're back up to the top. Clarkson sort of glances over at Renkov and says, "Perhaps I can help you take care of this first one." And he raises his shotgun. He's closer. He's 10 metres because, of course, he is 5 metres closer. And he is still at medium range, but he has his security bonus. Security officer gets a bonus as part of their skill.
Mm-hmm.
That's his thing. So let's roll that plus that, which is a good roll. And he rolls a 9. Because that's what a professional looks like when they're firing a gun.
Yes.
And he rolls damage of that, which, as you're looking down, having fired your pistols, feeling a bit like you've got pea shooters, you see the remains of whatever passed for a head of the lead creature just evaporate, just spray across the walls, all around it, the ceiling, and the creature drops to the floor. And all you hear is Clarkson just the shell out to reload.
Okay. Only he's now out of ammo, isn't he?
He's got one more left. He's got one more left. He's done 3.
Has he?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if he hasn't moved, I can't move either. Because I'm his only cover to get to the airlock, and he's in front of me. I'm going to have to take a shot.
Okie dokie, Renkov. They are at mid-range now. For you, they're 15 metres away. So can you roll 1d6 plus your agility, please? Welcome back,
Yes,
you.
we
Good
can.
timing.
It isn't necessarily going to be enough to be a clean kill, but that is a total 7.
Oh, you good man. Right, in which case, I need you to roll a 1d6, please.
And that's a 5.
You know what? That is enough to do a clean kill. That is 3 damage, which is... These are not
Fantastic.
buffed creatures. There's a lot of them, but they're quite weedy. The sort of the one that sort of lunged through past the falling headless body. Your shot hits in the chest, and that chest sprays open, and the creature crumples down to its knees and then to the floor.
Right, and can I also just yell out to Clarkson, get in the lock?
You can yell that as as sort of the follow. There's still sort of 4 or 5 creatures behind it, and yes, you can do that. Shay, you're in the lock. Anything particularly job you want to take in the airlock, or are you just happy to be in there?
I'm just happy to be in there.
Sounds good to me. Round to the top. Clarkson nods at you, and he is on his way. He gets around that corner.
Is he going to be able to make it into the lock this turn?
He was 5 away. He was 5 ahead of you. He's going to be outside the airlock this turn. He's going to need an extra turn to
Okay.
get in. Liam. Anything?
Yes, I'm in the airlock. Is the helmet on?
Yep, your
Is that
helmet's
finished?
on, her helmet's on, it's all good.
Cool, perfect. Liam can't do much else. He hasn't got anything to peer around the corner and cover with. He'll stand by the button to close the airlock door, I guess, ready to push it as soon as everyone's in.
Fantastic. The next person up is Misha, with the horde about 10-15 metres away from you, still at that mid-range. Eddie's gone past you. You see him sort of going around the corner.
Right. I'll take one more shot. Hopefully that'll buy Eddie time to get into the lock, and then I'll be able to head in there next time. I think that makes sense.
That makes some sense. Could you roll a 1d6 plus your agility, please?
Yes, I can. So that's a total of 7.
Okie dokie, roll a 1d6.
And that's a total of 1.
Okay. You hit the next one, and you seem to blow an arm off, but it's still going. But you're buying time at this point, right? So.
Yes, I'm not actually planning to be here when the last of them arrives.
Well, the next one is now less than 5 metres away from you, and there are 4 or 5 of them closing in on you, and your time is pretty much looking up. Shay, round to you.
Yep. I will sort of lean out the airlock with my pistol ready to go just in case. But I want to sort of hold that position there.
Okay. Sounds good to me. Could you roll a education for me, please? Sure.
Yep. Oh, that's a 6 plus 2 is an 8.
As you're looking round, and you're used to looking in different directions because you've been doing it for the last time on the ship. Because you know what you're doing. You take your chance to look up to engineering, even though nothing's come from there for a while. Just in time to see the door fly open, and filled with these shambling figures charging down that 20 metres of corridor towards the airlock. The corridor is suddenly, it was that twisted dark green corridor, flickering, is just full. Every time you look up, it's almost like a strobe. An arm's in a different place, a leg is in a different place, and there is screeching as loud as you can take.
Okay. Can I drag Clarson in?
Ooh, I like your thinking. I'll tell you what. Do a strength check for me, and if you pass it, I'll allow it.
You show me up now. How easy it is to drag Clarson in gravity.
Oh, that's a 3 plus a 3 is a 6.
You grab him sort of by the shoulder and try and pull him. You don't manage it. He sort of goes, whoa! He wasn't expecting it. He does sort of a bit of a comedy fall over. He stays on his feet, but you didn't help. He's still going to have to use his turn to get into the locker. Into the locker, into the airlock. Get to the locker.
Get to the locker.
Get to the locker. That's what I'm doing.
Quick, this thing's coming in a locker.
In the locker. Airlock? No, too risky. Locker. Luckily, it's his turn, but he has to spend his turn purely getting inside. So he is also inside, and it's getting very busy in there. The next one up would be Liam. You still by the...
Liam's still holding by the button. He'll keep a rough eye on our friend. Sorry, I've lost her name now.
Rosa.
Yeah, Rosa. He'll keep a rough eye just to make sure that she's, staying put inside the airlock. but he'll be ready to push the button as soon as Misha's in.
Okie dokie. Renkov, you're next on the turn order.
Renkov is on the move. He's held them off as long as he can, or helped to, and now it's time to get in the airlock. So he's going to nip round the corner and dive straight into the airlock. And as he flies through the airlock door, yell out, "Hit the button!"
I am invincible.
Perfect timing.
Okay. Yes, he makes it. In he goes, and just as he dives in, of course, the next turn is the horde that came in from that side, and they do get over to the door. I'm gonna make the stress for you, Liam. I'm gonna make you make a roll, Liam, and I need you to roll. It's going to be straightforward. It's an education roll, please. You know what a button looks like. You've pressed it before.
Yes.
You just
I'm
remember.
familiar with buttons.
But remember, it's an old-fashioned thing, and you've cycled it one way. And now you need to get that door shut the other way.
Fair.
Are you telling me he can't liaise with the button?
It's not voice operated.
Can I add science officer? Because it might be old, but it's still got some
Go
form
on
of
then.
technology.
Go on then.
Ah, thanks, Luke.
What is it?
Yeah, that's for 1. +5 is a 6.
A 6. Oh God, you are lucky. That was an easy task, and even then, it's not a complete success. As he goes to press it, there's that moment where his glove sort of slides off the button a little bit. It's a nice big square button, nice physical button, and a lovely pushy, clicky button. And he sort of pushes it a bit, and his finger slips off it a bit. And but as the door's shut, he realises that it slams shut in time to keep the horde out. But as he looks down, there's a weird noise, and one of the straps that they'd used is caught in the door. The door's shut, but they're strapped down. One of the straps is caught in there, so someone is not going to get across as easily as they would have hoped.
But the door is sealed enough for the airlock to operate.
You certainly hope it's sealed, because suddenly a number of faces appear, steaming up and glooping up the small view window, gnashing, screaming that you can't hear anymore. Just it's foaming. But it does appear that it's shut. The lights are correct. There's only one way to find out.
Liam, quite frustrated at this this series of failures, just punches the wall.
Roll strength for me, please.
God, thanks. Oh, there we go. 4 + 3 is 7.
Okay. You leave a small dent in the wall, but you hurt your hand in the process.
Well, can I use liaise, because I'm liaising with That's pushing it. That's fair enough. Shakes it off.
Okay.
Left, obviously, because it's left-handed.
There's a second after the door shuts, and then you hear that reverse hiss of the air being sucked out, that sort of sucking sound. And within not too long, a few seconds, the outer light flashes green, and you feel that weightlessness, all of you bobbing around, all 5 of you now, of course. And it appears you can escape the airlock. Clarkson is stood by the outer airlock, and wordlessly he pulls it open.
Did we have our tethers on? Are we sort of at that point, or?
So there are tethers floating around. There's well, not probably literally now. So none of you have been sucked out, of course, because all the pressurising was done before. If there were a few tethers still tied to the inner one of the inner hooks, there is I can't remember the length of them now. I need to look over it. It's about they're 75 centimetre tethers, were they? There is.
I thought they were 2 meters.
Oh, they're 2 meters. Sorry, 2 metre tethers with the 4 meters across.
So I think that's right.
No, they're 120 centimeters. I was right, 120 centimeters.
Okay.
There's 3 connected to the hook. And then there was the one that Clarkson had that made him the 4 meters, which is still connected to him, dangling off the front.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is what you've got at the moment now. That is it. You've lost the one in the door. That's sort of how you sort of got across the way before. There's sort of enough to get you across, just kind of.
Yeah. So we can make we can make it if we're a bit careful about how we do it. Well, I guess if Clarson's in pole position, let's let him get himself rigged and get across.
Cool. Clarkson nods. He sort of connects his 4th one to the other 3. And you're also looking over his shoulder across at the open airlock of the Nakuru. And you see a familiar face out there. A face that doesn't need a helmet, so you can see it in its joyous wholeness. Your favourite friend is watching you from across the way.
A face that is always watching.
Always watching. The one that only blinks to make you feel less uncomfortable. Because he doesn't need to blink. He could stand there just with his eyes open the whole time watching you sleep, Misha. But he blinks, so you feel less uncomfortable. It is Evan.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as you see him there, you hear crackle all of you over your radio. And it's Munro. And she says, Munro here, Munro. Evan says he has eyes on you in the airlock. Are you all safe and ready to come over? Over.
I wouldn't say safe, but we're ready.
Okay. Have you do you have the extra guest with you?
We do.
Okay. I'm not going to leave you any longer because I've just. Oh, hurry, please, hurry! That shuttle has undocked. It's floating towards us. Quickly, please. And she crackles off.
Well, that's not good. Slime monsters come from that shuttle.
You hear Evan crackle over. He's not in his helmet, but he's got his radio. You see that he's sort of strapped up, and he says, Clarkson, jump and take my hand. And Eddie Clarkson nods at all of you, and he sort of straps his shotgun in, and he takes a running jump, and rolls about 13 times better than Liam has done every time he's been in space so far. Mm-hmm. And doing it by himself, he leaps across, and he hits it perfectly. And just at that point where the straps look like they might tighten, he's reached the other side, and Evan just grabs onto his arm. You know, the old arm-to-arm grip. And quite adeptly, Evan sort of flicks the strap off the chest and hauls Clarkson into the airlock. And you've got the 4 straps dangling loose in space.
So we no longer have access to any of the straps.
Well, they're connected to your end, as in, but you need to haul them in if you want to use them again.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah. Is there any way of attaching one spacesuit to another spacesuit?
Yeah, you've got carabiners and bits and pieces to it. Clarkson managed to. There's bits of webbing and stuff connected to your suit.
Yeah. I'm just thinking we can probably hurry this up by jumping in pairs, can't we? Provided we're attached to each other and the straps are attached to one of us.
Oh, so yeah, he's an officer. Yeah, but who has to go with Liam? That's what I want to know.
Josh, short straws. I think
I'm just thinking we can speed it up a
trio, Liam says.
Or we could all jump at once. I mean, we could literally all jump, all four of us attached together. It might make sense given that we're carrying someone who's not necessarily entirely sure of herself.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not entirely, as you say, I'm not entirely sure how with it our new friend is.
What do you think? Is it worth a punt? We all attach together, attach the tether to one of us, it won't matter at that point, and then we all jump together towards the airlock.
Yep, let's try it.
I mean, if it goes wrong, we can always haul ourselves back in and have another go.
If it goes wrong.
If it goes wrong.
Yeah, as long as we're tethered. Let's do it.
Okay, gonna give it a shot.
As long as everyone's happy with it.
Yeah, we're going to attach ourselves together, please. And try and make sure that our guest Rosa is in the middle somewhere.
Okay, I need one of you to take lead, using their education and something sciencey or engineering-y to make the.
Well, I have engineering and science and a reasonable education.
You happy to do it? Then I need you to roll engineering plus education to check that everything's strapped together properly. That's
okay.
No one's going to float off into the.
That's a total of 11.
Okay, you know that you've strapped it well enough that if one person floats off into space, you're all going to float off into space.
Thank you. That's a very reassuring way of putting that.
It really is.
Can I reassure you a little bit more, though? Because as you're looking out of the door, you see that Clarkson has strapped himself to the other side and is leaning out to give you an extra bit of window of success, if that makes sense.
Okay, that's good.
So you've got both Evan and Clarkson sort of widening the gap a little bit to haul you in.
The dream team.
Nah, Liam's getting a boon because he does need it.
Oh, thanks, Kelly.
Clarson's like, come then, guys, this is the time. And you hear Munro crackle. She's like, Hawkins, I need you up here now. Come on, let's go.
Okay, everyone ready to jump?
As I'll ever be.
Can Liam just be talking Rosa through everything? I guess, in a reassuring manner.
You can. I'll tell you what. Roll me a successful charisma liaison, and you will boon her wrong.
That's a 5 plus 4. It's a 9.
Well done. She seems assured. She's got that steely look in her eyes. She nods at you. She's like, okay, I'll do it. Let's do it together. Let's go. Let's get off this hellhole.
Let's go. On 3?
On 3 or after
1.
3?
On 3. Liam will say.
On 3.
Gesture
1,
towards the other 2.
2, 3.
Right, I've got a number. This is a bit different to the rules. This is different, okay? I've got a number in my head that as a foursome, you need to hit to get across. Okay?
Yeah.
You're going to rely on each other here. And I'm going to let each of you, because I'm being generous, pick whether you're using your agility or your strength to do it.
Strength for me, please.
That is very generous.
It is very generous.
I too shall use strength.
It makes no difference to me. They're both 3, so I'll use my strength as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Big strength for all of you. Please each roll a dice and add 3 to it, and I'm going to roll for Rosa.
I'm going to use my boon.
Oh.
Now seems like a good time, if I'm honest.
Yeah. And that's a total of 10 for me.
That's a 4 for me.
That is an 8 for me.
22, 23, 24, 25, 26.
Thanks, by the way, Kelly, because my other one was a 1. So
And you said
big call.
You said 26, yeah? Okay, that's the total you needed to successfully make it nicely. That's back to front at 24.
Oof.
You leap across by strength. It's not beautiful. You look like some weird, horrific, overstuffed beach ball rolling the 4 of you. And as you fling yourself across the 4 meters of the expanse of space, you get that rushing sound, that silence in space, the breathing in your ears. And as you bundle towards the door, Renkov, you feel a hand grabbing at you, and Shay, you feel another. Shay is class and grabs on your webbing to one side, pulls you in. Misha, you feel Evan's hand on your backside, pulling you across. He's grabbed you well. He's pulled you across into the airlock and into safety. The second you're all across, quite adeptly, Clarkson unclips everything, slams the door shut, and as the 4 of you all like clump together in a bubble in the middle, in a big pile, Evan heads over to the airlock and punches the button, and you feel the pressure fill, and you slam to the floor, and the door swings open. And Munro's like, Hawkins, no rest now, Hawkins, now.
Okay, I'm coming fast as I can.
Okey-dokey, hang on a sec.
Liam takes a big, deep breath. Still in his spacesuit, but of relief. Given the last few trips that he's had.
Now, they had a big group hug anyway, Kelly. All the way across space, they had a lovely little group hug together.
Yeah. Now, I have to go to medical or something for isolation, don't I?
So as you're unpicking yourselves, Misha, you knew how it went together, so you can get it apart. I'll allow that anyway. Yes, so Carlos called Shay. You need to get up front now. Evan, as she goes, Evan looks at the rest of you and he says, did any of you take your helmet off on the ship?
Yep, me. Yep, I did that.
Okay, you can progress through to the next, sort of the inner airlock prep room, but you need to spend 2 hours in here before we can advance you any further. Okay? After this, you can go to the crew quarters and then eventually long sleep 2. And then you need to stay in there until we get a med team at base. Thank you for your heroism, Misha. You are a credit to us all. And he sort of smiles.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing you say on posthumous citations, isn't it?
He smiles at you and winks extra hard, as if sort of blinks extra hard, as if he's tried to wink, but as an android, he hasn't quite worked out the wink. It's quite an awkward blink at you.
I find that oddly reassuring. I don't want an android that winks.
Okay.
Liam will say, and our friend.
Evan sort of looks up and down and says, Rosa Manuela, okay. Means nothing to the current mission. I suppose you can go to medical and I'll check you over when I have time, but you're not a priority right now.
Yeah, but she's also been exposed to the atmosphere. So she better stay with me for the moment.
Good catch, Misha. And he blinks extra hard at you again. and then walks off towards medical.
I'm never going to get used to that.
Okay, Shay, you make it to the front to Carla.
Yep.
And what you see as you get to the front is that shuttle that was attached to the umbilical has been sort of cut free, and it's floating towards you. It looks like it's been steered in your direction. It's not moving under any major propulsion, but you need to get the hell out of Dodge because there'll be damage otherwise.
Okay.
Munro's like, okay, come on, Hawkins, show me that skill you've got. Helm plus agility, please.
So agility, so it's a 5 plus 6 is an 11.
Good.
You never let them down, Shay.
Your flying skills are awesome.
It's very true.
Just in the nick of time, calmly, you sort of swing the ship around and almost grazing the edge of the Argent 3 as you swing it. You then swing out into space, sort of gently rotating it around, avoiding the ship by maybe 25 meters. That's close in space, you know. And you sort of Munro types a few things in, and he says, right, I've set a setting just for orbit round the next planet along. Let's just get across there, out of this, and let's radio this in.
I agree.
Okay. So Hawkins, you're up front. For now. Liam, is there anything you want to do before a meeting?
Liam will probably stay with the other two, I guess. There's someone new to the ship to liaise with. That's his primary role.
Nice. Finally, he's making the most of his role. And Rosa will be very happy to have you there. She definitely seems to like you more than Misha, who just seems awkward at trying to shove her arms into the wrong sleeves and things like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, charisma of 1, my awkwardness precedes me everywhere. Yeah.
I mean, it's only 1 less than mine, to be fair.
Misha is well intentioned, but socially
Half,
clumsy.
I suppose.
So it takes a couple of hours to get across to the next ship, and the 3 of you are there chatting away, liaising. I believe that's what the youth call it these days. As Shay and Carla are chatting at the front, in the bridge at the front of ship. Clarkson doing whatever he does when he's alone. Evan toing and froing. It's kind of, every now and again you see his head poke through the airlock, through the thing, and it's reassuring, the little blink he does at you, Misha. And it's only 2 hours later when you get into orbit round the other planet. The airlock swings open, and you hear Evan's voice over your radio say, the 3 of you may now progress to the crew quarters. I've shut every door forward of there, so please enter down the corridor through the back of the crew quarters and remain there until we go to jump for long sleep.
Okay. I guess we'll well, I don't know if Liam's going to stay with us for that duration, but either way I will make sure that Rosa knows the way, because obviously she's not familiar with the ship, and I'll show her through to the crew quarters. Find her a bunk to sit on, and start to talk to her a little bit about what happened and how and why. Not going to push her too hard. I don't want her to sort of go into panic mode and shut up, but any information could be helpful.
Liam, are you there with them, or have you gone your own way?
Liam will definitely make a point of saying to Evan, "Hey, listen, if I need to get out there, I didn't take my helmet off. I'm just hanging out with my friends. I'll give you a call." But he'll stick with them, especially given the nature of the conversation. He'll be interested to see the I want to say liaising, but the interaction between the 2 of them. And he'll take a back seat, but he'll be happily observing.
So Rosa lays out the tale. So the 3 of us, my team and I, were tasked with stripping down the The space station, I believe you said you went to it? It must have been just a husk left by the time you got there. We stripped it down well, the Algernon. It was myself, it was Williams, and it was Bautista. Bautista. He's still alive on there, if you can call it alive. We spent a few months there, just a team of 3, closing it all down, making sure anything worth keeping was packed up for Maitland. They said that a ship was on its way, and we never had a chance for it to arrive, and our sensors went off, and we were ready to welcome in the ship. We'd shut down most of our external sensors. We were down to like the basic life control, basic sensors. And the report came through, and a ship landed, and these things docked. You see, there's some of them that brains have totally gone. They muttering, shouting, squealing, that's it. But there's some that are sort of kept a bit further away from engineering, that have retained a little bit of knowledge of what to do, They were the ones that came. They could put a ship into forward in reverse, up and down. They came in looking what for? Looking for food, looking for supplies. They smashed Williams to death there and then. If you saw blood, that would have been his. They took me and Bautista. Next thing I know, I was in that box. They'd gauged that. I've said it before. I'd gouged that part out my arm, and then before I knew it, they were feeding me my own arm. Grown over and over again. I was in that box, and Bautista they took into engineering. They thought that he could sort of solve all their problems, save the ship. And every time he came back, he was looking worse and worse. Skin falling off, hair out, gums receding, coughs, choking. But every time, they didn't know how to do it themselves. Just good vibes, and they took him to do it. He's alive. He's still alive, but it wasn't worth taking him, was it? It wasn't. He's dead. He's good as dead, right? There was no point. Oh, man. I'm so glad you came. Thank you. I don't know what they're going to do for me back at the thing. I've still got years left on my contract. I hope they don't send me out straight away. But it's
Well, I suppose I've got a couple of observations. The first is that after you've tried the food on this boat, you'll really start to miss a good dose of arm.
That's why you're not the liaison officer.
Yeah, but the other is the ship that docked with you was the one you were expecting that was sent by the company, and it was full of the monsters.
No, the ship we were expecting never came. Like I say, the external sensors went, but everything was shut down. We knew who we were expecting, but we'd torn apart everything that would have told us what the ship actually was.
Right. Okay.
I don't think this had anything to do with Maitland. I don't know. That ship's been out there for years, right? A long time. No.
Yes, a very long time. Not anywhere near long enough, it turns out, but a long time. Yeah. Anyway, it's good to have you safe, and I suspect the company won't actually expect you to work out the rest of your contract for a while yet.
I hope not. I'll have time. I'd happily have time added on to take a break.
It's certainly something that I would discuss with your senior staff. You might want to pitch the idea that maybe you'd swap a blood sample or two for some time off, because they might be quite interested in what's going through your veins right now.
It's got to be worth it, right? Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Thank Munro, was it? Thank her too. Thank Hawkins, right? Thank Clarkson. Without you guys, I would never have got off there alive. It means everything to me. And at that point, you see her sort of getting tired. It's the first time she's finally been able to properly relax, and she's yawning. She rolls up into that bed, her first comfortable bed for a long time, and you sort of see her starting to doze. And at that point, you see the two of you look over to a screen that you have on there, and on it is sort of an old CRT screen, of course, and you see the pixely faces of Munro and Hawkins and Evan, who are up at the front of ship. And you hear Munro. She says, "Hi guys, you okay back there?"
Yeah.
So far.
Okay, we've made contact with Maitland, and Evan is just gonna report for us, if that's okay.
Sure.
And you sort of see Evan's head take the main centre of the screen, and you've seen it before. His sort of eyes roll back, and he's sort of speaking no longer himself. And sort of the report goes in, and you hear Maitland speak through him, and they say, "Mission to place Maitland's salvage beacon in engine room. Success. All crew members, 6 months bonus approved."
Excellent.
So you guys can all add that. Rescue of engineers. Bautista, fail. Williams, fail. Manuela, success. But mission, overruled. Unimportant, replaced by sensor mission. So Manuela, retrieval, irrelevant. No months bonus. To complete mission, crew will re-enter long sleep and return Manuela to Antilles Station, 21 days away. Restock, refuel, and complete original journey to Glisa 667. Further information will be given to crew at the Antilles station. Maitland Corporation thanks you for your continued service. And there's a sort of a click, and Evan's eyes roll forwards. And that is where we will finish tonight.
Fantastic.
Congratulations.
You made it.
On your first successful mission.
That is wonderful.
Well done, guys.
Nobody
Very
died
few casualties that we cared about.
that we were aware of.
Never in doubt. Oh.
Well, thank you very much, Luke. Thanks.
Yeah,
for your
thank
time.
you.
It was great fun. If not a bit of a slog with all those dice rolls. Those poor dice rolls.
Poor
I'm not
dice rolls.
saying the number of dice rolls was bad. It was the number of bad dice rolls that was bad.
Yeah, my goodness.
Oh, man.
Took it to the very
But we
end.
made it.
They did for now, Drew. Just you wanted more drink. Just have another drink anyway.
Yeah.
If the mission.
Yes, I think the fact that none of us actually died means that Jareel didn't get to like drain his bottle or something.
Ah,
Well, there's always next time.
there is always
To be
next
fair.
time. You'll manage it. You never know.
There will always be another poor dice roll.
I mean, to be honest, as far as we know, we're currently sharing a crew room with Kane from Alien, so it's entirely possible it's going to go horribly, horribly wrong immediately.
So, that is very true. Of course, we haven't yet got to the post-credits part of this episode where the the screen zooms in on the first aid kit, where a little hint of green goo just pokes its way around the edge of it.
Yes, absolutely.
But we'll save that for another. That's a story for another day.
Eddie's leg.
Eddie's
It's all up his leg. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, the spacesuits, Shay's and Eddie's spacesuits are splashed with the stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Oh dear. It's probably for the best that Shay and Carla and Eddie are stuck up that end of the ship now, away from you lot. And the gloop.
Yeah, we're
And
probably in
with
the
Evan
safest
as
part of
well.
the ship.
There's a bonus.
Yeah. Well, Evan's allowed to come and go as he wants. That's the fortunate thing, and he will come and go as he wants.
Well, not with a bayonet through his neck, he won't.
He'll just fix himself. He has the power. Okay, well, that is it for this evening. Well done, you three, on survival. It was not certain. You know?
No,
Definitely didn't feel so.
It felt uncertain.
I was all ready for Gilly to have to roll for Rosa for half of it. Let's put it that way. It's very nerve-wracking, but well done, all of you. Thank you. And I hope that you're all willing to continue it at a later date. We can have
Very
a
much
discussion
so.
about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Gilly. Thank you for joining us. That was really good fun.
Thanks for having me again. Always good fun.
Thank you. And thank you, chat. Thank you for hanging out. Croy, Jareel, Kelly, anyone else that's sort of still lurking around. We really appreciate it. If you enjoyed it and you enjoyed our vibe, and don't follow us on Twitch or Twitter at BoysBaltic, please consider doing it. Gilly, do you have your links, or is it?
I do. I'm going to post my link tree.
Yeah, there we
Lovely.
go. Get involved with that, guys, because she is the most talented of all of us.
Oh,
So
you.
click
It's
on
true.
that and do it. So yeah, give that a click before you go, everyone. It's very late, but what I might do, I feel like if anyone is, let's see if we can at least jump on someone else, give them a little bit of support. Quite a few top-down tables. We haven't done top-down tabletop for a while. I like those guys.
We haven't. No, if TDT's up, that'd be great.
Top-down tabletop it. Right, hang on a sec. Let me just set this up before we say goodbyes. Ben, do some talking or something.
Do some talking. So we have a gaming stream on Monday night. This is going to be a Luke Plays on Monday, and then the next one will be a Luke Plays on Thursday. Both of them will be close to midnight UK time. We are not doing anything next weekend on our regular Friday and Saturday slots because all of us have independently ended up doing holidays and things. One of us is going to Fright Fest in London, and the others are, well, frankly, envious about that. Because who wouldn't be there if you had the opportunity? But unfortunately, that means there'll be no Friday or Saturday sort of regular tabletop kind of streams for next weekend. But we will return the weekend after with those. So the next thing is Monday night, and then there will be a Thursday and probably a Monday next weekend, but no Friday or Saturday. Many apologies if you've literally just found us and thought we're amazing and you want to do it. It's going to be a fortnight before we do any more RPGs. Sorry about that.
But there is a massive collection of VOD available on Twitch.
Yes,
to
there is.
catch up with, to be fair.
Yes, there are like hundreds of VODs to catch up on.
So feel free. We've got loads of this. We've got 7 parts of Dark Places, so there's a chance to catch up on the first few of them when they were good at rolling dice.
That's a good shout.
Good. You can catch Gilly's greatest moment in the practice mission. So you got that. We got the stilts. We got Orbital Blues. We got a few parts of that. If you like your sci-fi, more cowboy bebopping. We got a lot of hours of Traveller. If you ever want to catch up on that, we've got a lot of one-shots.
How many hours we got, Luke?
Oh, hundreds, man.
Because it must be
hundreds of hours of Traveller.
I think we've got 66 or so episodes up there, so that's a lot of hours.
It's really like over 200 hours or something. So that might be too much for you to catch up on. We won't blame you for doing it.
No pressure.
There's a lot of one-shots on there if you want to check that out. I was threatening you and what we'd do on the Friday and Saturdays. I'd set up loads of, because you can replay I was going to hunt through all the streams where one person got a bit too drunk and just play those because they're just really uncomfortable.
I like how you say you were threatening me with that, like it's always me.
One of them was
Luke.
me. Yeah. So, yeah.
One.
It's not a regular thing, guys. It's just every now and again because we game late, don't we? But yes, we won't do that. He said, "Why don't you all go and watch another channel instead that weekend? Go and spread your wings. Give support to others. Say that the Baltic Boys sent you." Right. Let's go to bed. Everyone's tired, but let's jump on Top Down Tabletop for a few minutes first, shall we? Go say hello to them. Hang around, say hello to them. Give them big ups. They're good people. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Brilliant.
Gilly.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks.
Cheers,
everyone.
guys.
you.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Enjoy
Good
your
night.
roast.
Bye.
Right. Raid. That's good. We're double figures. Always like a double figure raid.
Oh yeah, it's a
Feels
good
like
one.
we're helping them out. Let's go. Raid.
Well done, everyone.
Toot toot. Oopsie. And